Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. It seems like the Americans are trying to bring troops on the ground in Ukraine before Trump's showing up. So I have here a few articles to, I think, predict that I would say 98% will happen. The other one is Biden moves towards that little achievement. Then we find out that at least I will not cry for these guys crying or expecting us to cry for the North Korean troops being deployed in Russia to fight in Ukraine. I will show you why. While those guys allegedly, reportedly are fighting already, these guys send over their tanks, airplanes, and hundreds or thousands of missiles. But hey, those guys cannot be over there. So before I get into the first article, or maybe I just start with the first article, which is from Ukrainska Pravda. Trump's peace plan excludes deployment of US troops in buffer zone. The Telegraph. This is from November 9th, 2024. So Trump's peace plan excludes. Remember? All right. Now, let me tell you this. There's a little method, I don't know if I coined it, but I use it. Maybe there are other people came up with it, maybe somewhere it exists. But I coined it the mountain slope model, which is my interpretation of how the operatives push on us a certain narrative. Therefore, little by little, they prepare the baboons to accept the decision that they made a while ago. And that is by, first they bring you have a former something that is not a official anymore. It's just a former military, former CIA, former expert, former something. That means you can't blame him if he is wrong. And that guy comes and says, you know what, let's send troops to Ukraine. And then the media just picks it. That's the first step. The decision has been made regarding this. Why this worked, and I'm going to explain a little bit further. This worked with starting with javelins, then it was with how do you call those? Anyway, scabies right here. Armored vehicles, it was short-range missiles, then it was HIMARS, then it was Patriot, then it was tanks, then it was airplanes, and now troops. All this decision has been made a long time ago. I forgot the howitzers as well. So in this case, they start like this, slow, with this expert but not official. Then the media just picks it up after a day, and then after the media picks it up, you have some White House person saying, well, no, that's just garbage. And then the media will up it a little bit with some experts coming in and say, well, maybe it's a good idea, blah, blah, blah. And then you have a active military who's going to say, yeah, that's a good idea. And then you have the White House, well, the president is thinking about it. And then after a while, which usually takes about a week and a half, between a week and a half and 2 weeks and a half, it gets to, yeah, the president made a decision. The decision has been made far back there. So the problem is this mountain slope to a decision to prepare us, the baboons, we are the baboons, okay? All right, ready for the decision they will make. They see how we react, they build it slowly. So right now, this is the first one. The Trump peace plan excludes the deployment of US troops in buffer zone. Why do they even talk about it? We remember when every time they started talking about airplanes, sending fighter jets. Why do you even talk about it? Because the decision has been made. They did the same thing over and over again. And the baboons don't get it. Members of Donald Trump's team, you see, are rejecting the possibility of the US troops being deployed to secure an 800-mile, 1,200-kilometer buffer zone between the Russian and Ukrainian armies as envisioned by one of the plans to freeze the war between the two countries. You see, they are talking about it, and you see these guys, Trump's team, they're not officials, they can't be held accountable for nothing or for anything. Why? They're just people in the group, they say it, but they just get like in volleyball, if you play volleyball, in Romania you say ridicator. You get the ball up in the air for someone to get it, and that's going to be the media. Get it? Boom. It was not us who came up with this. It was just these guys right here. Now, that's the first one. I think the decision has been made before Trump comes in the office. Now, let me show you how I support my prediction or my assessment. Here, new voice of Ukraine. US now allows contractors to service military equipment in Ukraine. What does it mean? Some military, just mechanics, engineers, gonna go there and weld and just use the, that's what they are. They're not gonna be military sent over there. No, it's just the foot in the door. Now, the Russians said clearly they are legitimate targets for us. So they would be American citizens that will be blown up by the Russians in the war zone, and guess what we are gonna be told? They attacked our people. They were just mechanics. They were just military equipment servicing. That's a declaration of war. We gotta go to war. If you don't go to war, at least we should deploy some troops over there. Remember when what the hell, man? Okay, so remember when I said many times before, these guys will find a justification to send peacekeeping troops, love-making troops, something like euphemisms. They will be actively fighting. Or they will bring the front next to Russia, exactly what Russia said. We don't want NATO next to us. They will have NATO. That was the goal from the very beginning. So let's see what kind of people they send. I have two more articles regarding this garbage. Here. This represents a significant policy shift. They just upped on the mountain slope model at assigning Ukraine assisting Ukraine in its fight against Russia. An unnamed U.S. official stated that the contractors would be few and would operate far from the front lines. They will not participate in the combat operations. You got that? Because that guy said so. Do you believe it? No. Why? If you know history, remember in Vietnam, and in the Korean, we have military advisors who are actively fighting. But they were just advisors, military advisors, like, hey, you don't hold a rifle right. Yes, down, up, down. That's all they did. They were not even armed with a dagger. That's all they had. Or a little pocket knife, Garbage. I think there's going to be troops, as I said many times about the volunteers, so-called. Some of them are volunteers. Some of them are, I think, NATO troops that showed up in Poland, took their military uniforms from they came as groups, as platoons, already done with their commander. They show up over there, strip, get the volunteer thing, take a picture as a volunteer, put it right here in case the Russians are gonna boom them, and then they find, oh, it's a volunteer, we believe it, okay? And then they would do what? We cross the border into Ukraine and would be actively fighting as volunteers, but they are the same group with the same commanders, and after whomever survives crosses back, takes the cloth off, signs back on with the military, and goes back to wherever they were deployed in the first place. That's what I think, and I guarantee you we're going to find out about that after we will be allowed to find out. All right, let's go to the next article. Ukr Inform. U.S. lifts ban on contractors fixing. They're just fixing, man. U.S. supplied weapons in Ukraine. But you supplied weapons over there? And you tell me about the North Koreans? I'm supposed to be outraged? Oh, where a cat came. Am I supposed to be outraged because the North Koreans are sending troops, reportedly? But these guys clearly, truthfully, how should I put it, with statements, sent troops, with evidence. But hey, we're supposed to, you're not. It doesn't sound fair to me. And we are just, always we're just. So let's see what these guys are saying. President Joe Biden's administration has declined to allow U.S. defense contractors to work in Ukraine to maintain and repair Pentagon-provided weaponry. No, it's U.S. provided weaponry. You provided it and I provided it. This is according to U.S. officials. A U.S. official said the contractors would be small in number and located far from the front line. So if the Russians are going to blow them up, oh my God, they were just civilians, contractors. They will not engage in combat. I am, right here, administration has decided to allow. I think I said did not decide. So anyway, next one, Russia Today. Biden allows deployment of U.S. military contractors. You see here, you didn't hear anything about military contractors, or just contractors. Right? And here again, here he said just here, where's the title? Just contractors, just to service, just contractors. And the Russians say, no. US military contractors. Is that a change? Do you think that matters? It's a difference? I think it is. Companies bidding for defense contracts will reportedly be responsible for the risks faced by their employees. In the first place, they're still American citizens. The administration of outgoing President Joe Biden has lifted a de facto ban on deploying U.S. defense contractors to Ukraine to repair American-made armaments. Reuters and CNN reported on Friday, citing anonymous Pentagon officials. Now, anonymous. This reversal of previous U.S. policy comes as Donald Trump, who has been skeptical of providing funding and military assistance to Ukraine in its conflict with Russia, secured his second term. Now, I don't think the Pentagon is scared of Trump. I think Trump is scared of the Pentagon. It's the other way around. Right? And if these guys are in a hurry to implement certain things, Trump can reverse those whatever their directives were in an instant. How he did it, remember, with Iran, with a nuclear deal with Iran and the Europeans, when in the first Trump's term, when Trump said, well, we get out of this. I don't like it. She's too fat for me. So what's going on here? Do you think that he cannot do it in his own administration and the baboons underneath him because someone else said so in his administration? Please, if he has the power, indeed, and he has the will, he can say, stop that, you go left, you go right. But it's not like that. It's not like that. I mean, anyway, so here it is. They're going to send American, just contractors. Well, I suspect it's going to be a de facto and de jure send of de jure not, but de facto military fighting actively. Close to the next step is going to be, yeah, then we send military over there. Oh, it's a buffer zone. No, Trump said, anonymous source said, no, from his staff said, no, we're not going to send troops. Why do you even talk about it? Why do you talk about, is China going to send troops? Why nobody talks about China maybe sending troops over there? I don't know, maybe Zimbabwe. Nobody talks about it. Why is that? Because the decision has been made. All right, and now I'm going to show you why I don't cry a river when these guys want me to cry a river, the operatives, for, oh my God, the North Koreans over there, the World War III is because of the North Koreans, is the third country involved. There you have it, it's World War III. One of the reasons is this. Why? Because it's just happening now. Business Insider. This French fighter jet Ukraine will get next can launch the stealthy Storm Shadow/Scalp missiles that have frustrated Russia. So they have no problem sending this kind of weapons to kill the Russians, the invaders. But when allegedly, reportedly, the North Koreans are coming, there's an escalation. So you send not only United States of America, France, Great Britain, many countries sent weapons and many other things to Ukraine. There was not an escalation. It was just a normal civic duty. But the bad guys, if they copy at least what these guys have been doing. Niet. Remember with the deployment of the nuclear weapons in Europe, United States has seven locations in Europe with nuclear weapons in 5 countries. Russia had none. Zero. What do you want? Meow, meow, come over here. The cat is going to cross. We're going to fly over the keyboard and then it's going to be like, woo, come over here, come the other way. All right. So remember that that's 7 deployments, 7 locations in 5 countries. That's what it is. And when the Russian says, okay, we're going to just bring 1 in Belarus. Nah. Well, Russia right now is 7-1. So the Russians can use 6 more in Europe somewhere. Or maybe, I know, in Cuba, Venezuela, Nicaragua, maybe, I know, Canada, or maybe Mexico. Oh, no, they can't, you say? Well, I thought we're just. Oh, no, we're not just because they're bad and we are good. Who decided that? We. But they don't have the same right to decide for themselves who's bad and who's good. I can't subscribe to this garbage. All right. And let me show you another one here that I'm supposed to cry about the North Koreans. New Voice of Ukraine. Pentagon to send Ukraine 500 interceptor missiles for Patriot and NASAMS. Wall Street Journal. 500 interceptors. Unless you think, I don't know if you think that way, but people in general, the baboons, think this way. We are the good, that's the evil. There's no in between, and that's it. you pick and choose your evidence to support your claims, then I'm sorry, I can't limit my intelligence to that. They want me to lower my IQ, I don't know, 20 some points to understand and agree with their garbage. No, no, no. The first bullet the West sent to Ukraine to kill the Russians, I think the Russians should have considered them actively involved in the war and come to the what's coming next then. And that would have saved 3 years of killing and all that in Ukraine. But some fat cats, not mine, had to get fatter and fatter. That was the whole goal. The whole point here, not the whole point. The most important thing, we got the war profiteers. We just happen to be lucky, like you and I, right? All right, we're the ones that are getting Troops will be sent over there under the euphemistic whatever. Troops will be blown up over there. But I think when Trump comes, he's going to say, we do this, we're going to threaten you with this. He's going to up, his things. I'm going to do this to you, I'm going to do this to you. And the Russians, all they need to do is going to say, we're going to use nuclear weapons. And that would get Trump back home in a second. Packing. Why? What are you going to do about it? You're going to say, I'm going to use it too? Okay, let's do it. What are you going to do? I'm a billionaire with a billionaire family and with a big, long, hair over there. I'm going to go down to what? Destroy my family for Ukraine? He's going to talk to Putin in no time. And it's just Trump and many others elites. They don't want to destroy their blazon, their families. They climbed up on this ladder, on this planet for Putin. For Ukraine, you think? They will not. So the Russians, if they use this threat, I guarantee you these guys are going to back the fuck off. And who's going to be benefiting? I hope you and I. Because we're supposed to benefit, because these guys are using us as a lady of the night. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.